harvest this year really is momentous in the life of the garden because this is the first harvest that we've had since we were open to the public, and it'll be the first time then that we're going to have produce on sale. The wall garden here at Hillsborough, its real function is to produce fruit and vegetables for use in the cafe. So when you come in, you will see the permanent crops, you'll see the vegetable crops. Around the walls, you'll see some of our very historic espalier pear trees, which are over 100 years old. And it's really exciting because they're still producing really top quality fruit. The gardens here at Hillsborough were first enclosed at the time that the house was built in the 1760s. And by 1788, the walled garden had its walls all the way around it and it was in full production. So it was at that stage producing flowers and fruit for the house, feeding all the staff who lived on the site. It has been in use on and off over the centuries ever since.
This has been a massive year for us here in the walled garden. It's been so much work to get it to this stage, and it's been great that this is finally the first growing season. The winter months last year involved a lot of planning and preparation so that we have crops producing right through the year and being able to supply a steady flow of produce into the kitchens. We liaise very closely with the Yellow Door team and the kitchen staff in order to plan what crops is going to be coming into the kitchens. Everything is used, there's no waste whatsoever. We're able to use all the crops which are coming out of the garden.
In your traditional kitchens, you'd be placing orders for veg that you were sort of planning on the next day. Where here, at the end of the day, we sort of go out and have a look what's going to be available to be picked. Certainly with the likes of the herbs in the garden, you'd be getting them in plastic packets delivered to your kitchen door. Where here, if we can be halfway through the day and we need fresh herbs, the guys will go out and just trim some herbs off. It's a lot fresher and it's definitely a real selling point here. Certainly during the summer, the likes of the salads would change very quickly, very busy site, and it could be, rather than running into the fridge and grabbing a bucket of salad leaves, we'd go out into the garden, cut the salad, bring it in, gets washed, and then it goes straight out. It's literally, you couldn't get fresher. Our focus here would be on seasonal local, and obviously you don't get much local than just outside the back door. Out here, you know, there's loads of different varieties. It is a lot nicer working this kind of way, and I know it does give the guys inspiration of sort of wanting to do something a little bit different.
The crops we're growing in this garden is heritage varieties of crops mixed with the more modern equivalents. It allows visitors to see the difference between the two and how crops have changed through the years. There's some really interesting heritage varieties of crops such as golden beetroot, which people might not have ever seen or heard of before. One of the more modern crops that we're using is parsley. This is a cross between parsley and celery, so a cotton celery as such. Although we are using modern equipment and methods, we are also using more traditional methods and how it would have been done in this garden originally. We're growing organically here. Compared to the crops that you would see in your everyday supermarket, these crops are a much higher quality and a much better standard, and the flavours are much more intense.
The layout of the garden is very traditional. It was originally designed and divided into 16 areas. We then actually have subdivided the areas to make them smaller and more manageable and easier for visitors to get up close to the vegetables and to the fruit and to walk between the beds.